Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming back. It's another report from Canada, which is basically a dictatorship, and it has been actually for a long time. I had today to do some research on our the charter, not the charter, but the. It's written quite complicated. In fact, it's by the old man Joseph Trudeau, whose real name is he goes by Pierre Elliott, but his real name is Joseph. He wrote the Constitution of 1981, and the prerequisite was that all the premiers of Canada had to sign, but that didn't happen. But it became the law of Canada anyway. He pushed it through. The premier of the province of Quebec was furious, beside himself. And as he said, Justin Trudeau's father, Joseph, stabbed Quebec in the back. Well, Justin Trudeau has stabbed Canadians in the back. He's had his police stomp on people with horses. He had the police smash up trailers, put pickaxes through the fuel tanks, busted radiators, flattened tires. The police, oh, the wonderful, wonderful police. But in Canada, the police cars all say this: police service. It does not say to serve and protect the public. It used to, prior to the 1981 Constitution. But Joseph Trudeau took all of that away. In fact, we had a Bill of Rights written by a man named John Diefenbaker back in the early 60s, which is what we relied on at that time. And that Bill of Rights was given to the people. It wasn't given to the government or the police or anybody else. It belonged to the people, as it does in the United States. Their rights belong to them. They don't belong to the government. And the government of the United States, as we can see, wants the people to give up all their rights. If any Americans are watching, do not give up your rights. Do not do it. You'll end up like us. You'll be under the horse's hooves, as we get to see here. So anyway, just to get back to Canada, Mr. Trudeau was at the European Parliament, and he was called out and called down by three people. One German guy, two Germans, and forgetting who the other person was, what country they came from. But they all called him out to be a dictator, which he is. And as he said, he has rescinded the emergency order. But there are still people in Canada who cannot access their money from the banks. Mr. Trudeau has not lifted that. There are single women who have jobs. They can't cash their paychecks in the bank. They can't put food on their table for their children. And Mr. Trudeau loves women. He's all about feminism and women and women. In fact, he sponsored a soiree in the city of Toronto, Ontario. He called it the She-EO Conference because he's pushing women so hard, right? So 3 crazy nights. No men allowed, women only, at a convention center. Trudeau was the only man allowed in. And he spoke, and he spoke, and he partied, and he smoked a bit, drank a little. His wife was left at home at Harrington, I call it Harrington Cottage, I think. It's not really a cottage. It's kind of like a mansion on a lake. So when the CEO conference was over, Mr. Trudeau dusted himself off, got in the limo, drove back to Harrington Cottage, which is in Quebec, actually. And when he got out his key to open the door, the key didn't work. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Mon Dieu. So he goes around and he finds one of the kitchen windows was unlocked, so he went in. When he gets inside, here they are. Sorry about the French accent, but you might as well know we're in Quebec now. Here they are, the RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, sitting at the kitchen table. So they'll go, hello. And he goes, hello. So he sits down with those police officers, and, they get out some papers, they roll up some joint, and they get some booze out of the fridge, and the wife comes down the stairs. She's certainly angry. Oh, mon Dieu, she's very, very angry. And Trudeau said, you changed the lock? She says, you two-timing something or other? Sit down, have a drink. She didn't, of course. She didn't want to talk about it. She tried to get interviewed, but the CBC said it can't be interviewed her because Justin Trudeau owns the CBC, our only national broadcaster. He owns it. If he doesn't like what the CBC says, they can't publish it. That's it from Canada. This is how we live. We still have the Emergency Act. And I watch Viva Fry. I like to watch what he does, and I like to watch Jordan Peterson, who has a very stern warning for not just Canadians, for everybody in the world of what's happening and how the media is getting manipulated. I still have one strikeout at YouTube. They've taken it down. They didn't like what I said about the thing, that you have to wear the mask for. You remember that one? They said what I was saying was a misinformation. Well, it was not. It was stuff that Fauci had said and what Monero, whatever it's called, is it Monero, had published of their own findings. Somehow YouTube doesn't like that because YouTube knows what you should know and you shouldn't know anything else. YouTube will tell you what's worthwhile to read and what's worthwhile to watch. Otherwise, you're not a good American or a Canadian or a British person or anybody else. You're just no good for freaking nothing because YouTube knows what you should know. And so does Mark Zuckerberg, who has been charged by the American government. Guess what him and his wife did? They donated $800 million to a campaign to make sure Donald Trump did not get elected as president. Now, $800 million bucks. And he put drop boxes on the street, which were not allowed. In one state, I've forgotten the name of the state. I'm sure somebody out there knows. Anyway, I'm starting to rant a little bit here. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to try to put it on YouTube again. I may get another strikeout for that, but I did say mask. I didn't say the name of the, and because it's not misinformation, I asked them to tell me what's the real information. Please supply it. They have not done it. They got nice jobs, though. Big money coming in. Mucho dinero. Anyway, thanks very much for listening. I'm going to get going now. Thank you. Bye.
Wow, Pedro gives you his special gypsy glasses and this is what you choose to look at? Pedro's not very sorry for you.